Hello out there, people. How are you today? All right. So I have been running up and down these internet streets, reading about what's going on and, just listening in on conversations, commenting on some stuff. And there's a couple things I want to address and talk about. Well, there's one primary thing, but it has branches. Okay. Now, the primary thing is the fact that in the news, and I'm saying in the news because this stuff happens even when the news don't report on it. Okay. In the news, there's a lot of talk right now about high level people who are falling away from the church. Okay. There's some guy who wrote music for Hillsong. I've heard of Hillsong. I think a lot of people have heard of Hillsong, but I'm not sure who this guy is, though, who this person is. So, and it's not important for the commentary. And there's other high level people who are coming out saying that they're no longer believers. And there are several podcasts and radio shows of folks who interview these people. I was one of them. I have been one of them to interview on several of these shows. But okay, so there's a great falling away. That's what I'm hearing from people in the Christian community. Okay, there's this thing happening, and it was predicted in the Bible that there's going to be a falling away, and like the prodigal son. We're going to come back and see that it was better when we were there than we are right here. So falling away from groupthink and situations where you don't feel like you fit is not new. Okay? It's not new. This stuff happens every day. When I say firing God, I keep saying it's about the belief system that I did not want to question, and all of the rituals and things that came with that system. I have fallen away from many systems of thinking, okay? Because I felt in every situation, every single one of them, I'm too large for this. I can't fit here anymore. I cannot, this space is too little. I can no longer grow. Okay, I can't rock with this group no more. These rituals aren't doing anything for me. Okay. So if you're talking about falling away, people fall away from all kinds of stuff, and they typically fall away because they don't fit anymore, because they're growing up. Okay. An oak tree will never be an oak tree if it stays in the acorn. Is that where oak trees come from? Acorn? Never. The caterpillar will never fly if it stays in that cocoon. Never. It'll never fly. If it stays in there, you got to grow up. You have to. You absolutely have. I mean, that's, you hurt yourself when you refuse to admit, that maturity has to happen. Okay. So let me tell you about 3 things that I've fallen away from. The first one I'm going to mention is my job. I fell away from that because I love the people, absolutely loved them, every single one. But I couldn't do what I wanted to do, right? I couldn't spread my wings. I could not actually use the competencies and the skills that I have in that position. I couldn't. And it was stifling. It was claustrophobic. Okay. It wasn't about, okay, I got to get this paycheck. No. It wasn't about that anymore. Even the paycheck wasn't enough to keep me there. And it was a nice paycheck. Even that wasn't enough. Okay. Because I wrote this article about freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants freedom to grow and mature. Everybody. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. Everybody wants freedom to grow and mature. Okay. And I use several examples, but Braveheart was one of the examples I use, right? The dude who said, give me liberty or give me death, right? So many people have talked about, listen, if I can't be free, then I ain't even, what do I need to be here for? Okay. I will sacrifice myself so my kids can be free. We want freedom to fall away and grow into a different possibility. Okay. So my job, that was the first place where I fell away. The second place I fell away from was my marriage. Okay. That's an institution as well. All right. That's a place where you have a contract, to do a certain thing, to be a certain way. I found this ain't for me. And I know not to get in another contract like that. Okay. It's not for me. It's just not, I can't move. I can't be real. There were, I could have but that would have been falling away too. So either way, it didn't matter. Right. So falling away from that kind of relationship, that kind of way of relating to a person through a contract was not for me. It just wasn't. Okay. And the third place I fell away from was the Christian church. Because again, it was too small. It was the ideas were not big enough. They weren't big enough. The idea of God as the way they've painted this one being who has all the power, all the, can see all the things, all the stuff, that's too small for me. It's too small. Okay. I can't grow within that. So what do? Just like the leaves on the tree in the fall, I had to let it go. I had to fall away so that something else could come through. In my marriage, my job, and my religious affiliation. All three of those things. And I'm happy for it. And guess what? I'm not done falling away. Okay? Because when you grow into something, and then what happens? You keep growing. You're going to have to get, now that don't mean I'm just abandoning stuff left and right or whatever. It just means that I'm able to broaden what I know, be truthful about what I see and how I feel about certain things. Just tell the damn truth about it. Okay? So that I can then, because I can't move anywhere. I cannot take one step, one breath. My heart cannot beat one more time unless it's from a place of truth. Then I can move. But as long as I hold stuff inside and lie and try to convince myself of this, that, and the other thing, I'm gonna be right here on the inhale, waiting to exhale until I go ahead and move forward or to the side or diagonally or down or up, whatever it is, wherever the possibility takes me, I need to be able to stand on what is true for me before I can take another step. The thing about truth, so Alan Watts says there is no such thing as the truth. Okay. All there is what's here. Whatever is true, ain't nobody arguing about that right now. Nobody. If there's contention anywhere, there's this really good picture that I used for for a presentation that I just gave recently. I forget the dude's name, but he did a drawing, right? He had reality down here at the bottom, okay? And on top of reality, he had assumptions, beliefs, and something else, like opinions or something like that. But assumptions, beliefs, and is down here is where stuff is true, is where stuff is, that's actually happening. And on top of that, we have what we believe and what we think and what we perceive and all this other stuff, right? So the title of that was Getting Back to the Good. That's what I named that presentation, Getting Back to Reality, so that we can create stuff based in reality. Okay? So that we can acknowledge, what I'm thinking about this is not real. It's my own story that I'm making up about it. I can start from my own story and keep going, or I can start from what's actually going on, and then go from there. Okay. I can start from acknowledging and investigating my assumptions. Okay. And then start from there. I can start from acknowledging and investigating my beliefs, acknowledging that it's a belief. Okay. It's not reality. It's a belief. I say again, in the top of my page on this YouTube channel, God is real, but belief in God is not. It's not, because you would not be fighting over it if it was real. Nobody is fighting over what's real right now. Nobody. Because it's real for everybody. Fighting over what? You only start the fighting and the disagreements and all this other stuff when you get up here at these levels of belief and assumption and opinion and all this other stuff. The story. When you get the story to the story level, I can fight with you all day. All day. Disagree, all kind of stuff. Because that's what we do. That's what we're doing. This level here is Real Housewives and Love and Hip Hop. Up here. Right here. Okay? Down here, ain't nobody doing nothing. Nobody. This is all the drama at right here. Okay? If you got drama, you floating up here. That's where you are. Okay? So those are the ways that I fell away. And I look forward to the next falling. I really do. Child, I need to fall right now in my another relationship I need to fall away from. Seriously. I do. I see that, I know that, I acknowledge that, all of that stuff, and I'm just preparing myself. I'm just preparing myself to do. And that's the thing about falling away. My work, my marriage, my religious community, it was the work. Falling away is hard. It hurts for all of them. I mean, it's not easy. So for somebody to think you just wake up one day like, okay, I'm going to do this thing and it's going to be easy peasy and I'm just move on with, that's not the way it works. Falling is a process. There's a process to falling. Okay. You don't just trip and fall or what, it's a whole, it involves everything. It involves your psyche, your emotions, the stuff you do physically. I mean, it involves all of that. Okay. It really, really does. But people have, Brene Brown was saying something about people respecting your boundaries and all this other kind of stuff. You ain't got to respect nothing. You ain't got to respect my boundaries. You don't. But I do. I have to respect my boundaries. Okay. So when I put them up, I got to respect what I said. I have to respect myself and what I do. Okay. You ain't got to respect nothing. Okay. You can go on and do your own thing, whatever. But if my boundary says you can no longer be in this space right here, then that's something for me to do. That's something for me to remove myself from a particular situation, right? Because that's my boundary that I have to respect. You ain't got to respect it. The great falling away. It's happening, not just because it's being televised. Okay? And it's not just happening in the religious community. It's happening in all kinds of spaces. And let me say this. How do you know that this idea of religion is not the falling away? How do you know that? How do you know? Because the way it's seen is that religion is the thing. Marriage or this institution or this standard or whatever is the thing. And that's the thing you fall away from, that you have to come back to. Okay? That's the way it's seen. This is the thing. This is the rightness, the bubble of rightness right here. Okay? And what happens is you fall away from that bubble, and now you're out here in the open and the this and the that, and you're struggling and all that. And now you come back to the bubble. Now things are right as rain again. Okay? What if this bubble right here is the thing you need to get away from, is the thing you need to fall away from? Okay, because this thing, which means when you out here, you haven't fallen away from the right bubble, right? Out here is putting you back where you were originally, right? Back where you were when you were born, back where you were before all this stuff was just put on you. And now you're in this bubble, and you're Cheryl, and you're a female, and you're Black, and you're a mom, and you're a this and a that, and a thousand other labels that you have. Okay, maybe it's all that stuff you gotta, back up from, so that you can look around and say, hey, there's more to it than this. There's more to it than what I thought I was. There's more to it than this story, this idea of Christianity, this idea of woman. There's more to it than all of that, than all these labels and what I've been told I have to do in order to be a good label. I see that that's not all there is. There's more to it than that. I wrote this article, this blog post, where I said, if the Jesus in the Bible came back today, first of all, he wouldn't be a Christian. He'd have to go up in front of the church and confess himself to become a Christian, right? Because what these people call Christianity today, child, listen, have you read a Bible lately? Seriously. If you really want to prescribe to that stuff, or a Quran, I don't know what's in the Quran. I don't know. Or whatever else you got out there, all these other religious books and stuff like that, right? I had to take religion when I was in Salve Regina. I had to take an Old Testament course and a New Testament course. They were required for my school. I learned so much in those classes, y'all. I'm telling you, so much. And it's like, human beings are the best. We make up some stories, I tell you. And plagiarism, let me just tell this story they telling over there, but let me add a little spice to it. Come on. That's what we do. We're meaning makers. We make meaning. One of my chapters in Firing God is called Making What's Missing. Okay? Making what's missing, which means if I am missing anything in my life, I got to make that shit first. Then I can miss it. I have to make a story about it. Okay. Then I can feel bad about it. Then I can miss it when I don't have it. Then I can lose it. Then I can, but it can't, none of that happens unless I make it first. Okay. I cannot lose an amazing relationship unless I make it, right? I got to make up the story. I got to have the characters. I got to have, what they do, how they're supposed to act. And, I got to make that first. Then I can say, oh, this is awful. Okay. This is not what I want. Okay. But I got to make it. So what essentially, what I'm falling away from is my own damn story. Okay. That I've made regarding these things, which is good. Now I can go on and make a different one. I really can. I can go on to make a different one. Now, so there's realness in there, because there would be nothing in this room that I'm in right now. You wouldn't even be able to see or hear me if it wasn't for the space that's here. I'm not talking about air. I'm talking about the space. You see here, the space, you see that? There's space between me and this thing right here. Or let me say the idea of space. Wouldn't nothing exist without this, right? So in that story, there is some realness, okay? Because there has to be in order for there to be a story, right? So just like when years ago, I have a picture of me when I was in high school. I was in the choir, and there's a picture of me. So I wrote this another blog post. Y'all know I like to write. I wrote another blog post called Lost in Space. And I said, if I go back to my school and I take a picture in that same place, will the space that's in this picture be different? Will it be older? Will it be wrinkled? Will it be smaller? Will it be dead? That same space. It's just as fresh and new and clean and pristine as it was when I took that picture, like 30, I don't know, a long time ago when I was a teenager. Okay. It's still the same. And that's what I mean by in order for me to make up a story, like something real has to already be here for me to do that. And that's the thing that carries through to all of them. It's like the clean slate or something that we use to continue to storify and mature our stories. Okay, so I'm just telling a more mature story in those areas in my life. So my job area, I'm looking to now mature story for me. Let me say it like that for me. All right. I'm looking to gain more freedom and do what the hell I want to do regarding my work, and partner with who I want to partner with regarding my work. In my relationship, this is the area that needs the most help. I am really looking to mature and grow. I'd rather do it with someone, but if not, then that's just the case. And in my spiritual life, I'm looking for the same thing, to grow and mature. And it's not growing and maturing like I have a goal to reach, because I don't. All right. In this conductor, he wrote a book where he talked about when his class comes in, he gives everybody an A right off the bat. And he tells them, everybody in here has an A right now, today. So what we're going to do during the semester, we're going to grow into that A. Okay. That's how we're going to do this. It's not that you have to earn the A. You already got it. You already got it. You just got to grow. Let's grow into it. Okay. Same thing is happening here. I am who I am already. It's just about me growing into it, growing into all that power and greatness and beauty and, just growing into it. That's all. That's all we got to do. We already got the A. We already got it. And many of us refuse to grow into it. We figure, okay, this is where I am and it can't get any better. So we just refuse to move for whatever reason, and you don't have to do that. You can move. We can all move. And we have all moved. Okay. And we can keep doing it. All right. I got to go redo my hair, y'all. I like this, but it's too thin because you see, I have, my hair is shaved on the sides, right? See that? So whatever I have in it, I like it to be a little thick, and this isn't. It's too thin, and I can't just wear it. I have to wear it to the side because that makes it look a little bit thicker. So I'm going to change this today. It don't take me that long. It takes me like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours or something. Okay. So I will talk to y'all later, and hopefully I'll have a new do at that time. Bye.